Let's start wrapping up these class abilities. Hello there everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire, here to continue on with our class guide for the 1st edition Pathfinder Magus. Today we are going to be wrapping up our look at the rest of their class abilities. There's a decent number left, though today's episode hopefully will be just a tad bit shorter than the last one. We are going to roll right on into things here, but just before we do that, if you're new here to the channel, then go on down there, hit the subscribe button and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or if you've already gone on ahead and listed yourself in just such an incredible roster of legendary heroes, then go on down to hit the like button and share the video far and wide. Now we'll start digging into things. And to start us off today, at 7th level, you are going to get medium armor proficiency. You are now proficient in wearing medium armor and do not incur a spell failure chance casting while wearing this armor. And that's huge for a Magus. This is a solid boost to your defensive profile. It boosts up your AC. The fact that you have a decent dex score should mesh nicely with this, even if you aren't going to focus on pumping up your dex much higher. You should be in a pretty solid spot with this, though if you're following this guide, we're probably going to end up focusing on our dexterity, raising that up, so we are going to eventually regress back over to lighter armor. Although it's not really so much a regression, it's just as circumstances dictate that we go with the best armor class possible, so maximizing our dexterity bonus boosts our initiative, several skills, reflex saves, our melee attacks with our feet loadout, and the different kinds of armor class that we have available to us, including touch armor. Next, we have improved spell combat coming in at 8th level. When using spell combat, the Magus gets a +2 circumstance bonus to concentration checks for casting their spells. This is great to have. I mean, you're going to be in melee in the thick of things. This is going to help make sure that you are able to get those spells out reliably and effectively. And so you're not going to be wasting up too many of your spell slots. It's going to take a significant opponent to threaten that and a bad roll for you to fail at this point. At 10th level, we are going to pick up fighter training. You count 1/2 of your Magus level as a fighter to qualify for feats. This isn't bad, but by this point, it's not bad. Like, it's nice to have a further range of options opening up, but there's really not a lot you really want to dive into by this point, and your feats are going to want to be distributed in other areas. Maybe weapon focus and weapon specialization can help. Specialization adds on +2 damage to the weapon that you're wielding, and weapon focus, of course, gives you a +1 to hit with the weapon you decide to focus on. So if you're going rapier or scimitar, something like that, then a +1 to hit with your good attack bonus progression. You don't have the full, but a good progression that can help to offset that, especially when you consider that using your spell combat, you're taking a -2 penalty to most of your attacks. So any little areas where you can offset that, that's going to be a pretty solid pick. Though, I'd say play around with things a little bit, think things out, just be a little bit careful, because the Magus can become spread a little bit too thin if you try to be good at everything that you're capable of. Next, at 11th level, we are going to get improved spell recall. Recall a spell, or a used spell, using your arcane pool at 1/2 the spell's level for the cost in points, so minimum of 1 point spent. Or recall a spell that you didn't prepare that is in your spellbook for a number of points equal to the spell level. You can't apply metamagic feats to a spell prepared this way. So, reading that, my take is you should, if you have prepared a spell already that you applied a metamagic feat to, then you should be able to use the first portion of improved spell recall. But if you didn't prepare a spell, then you can't apply metamagic feats to it in that case. So check with your DM, but that's the interpretation I'm running with. That's what it looks like to me, and that's what a fair number of other people online in different forums have landed on as far as a conclusion goes. Then at 13th level, we pick up heavy armor proficiency. You gain proficiency with heavy armor and incur no spell failure chance while casting in it. Great to have, awesome ability, though with this particular build, probably not what we're going to be leaning towards, honestly, because heavy armor is going to really limit your dexterity bonus that you can apply to your armor class. So medium to light armor is really where we're going to be sticking. However, if you're in a situation where heavy armor is the only armor available to you, for whatever reason, whatever the circumstances might be, then this will be awesome for you to have. You'll be able to fight at your full capacity, have a pretty decent amount of protection, though maybe not what you usually prefer, and the only real penalty that you're going to have is to your speed, but by 13th level you're going to have access to different magic items and spell options to help boost your movement abilities. So definitely a great one to have, though probably going to be better for other builds. Then, at 14th level, we have Greater Spell Combat. Using Spell Combat, bonuses to concentration when taking an attack penalty are doubled. So if you're casting defensively, if you take a -3 penalty to your attack bonus, you're going to get a +6 bonus to your concentration. So concentration's great to have boosted. Like I said, you're going to be in the thick of combat, in the thick of fighting. This is just kind of icing on the cake. This is going to make it nigh on impossible for you to fail, unless your DM rules that using these abilities, a roll of a 1 is an automatic failure for anything and everything. If they don't, then you're guaranteed to succeed more often than not in this case. But the thing is it's kind of overkill. It's a little bit of overkill. If this had come in on improved spell combat, that would have been much, much better. But, you know, again, not bad. It's nice to have for those extreme circumstances, and a DM that wants to challenge your Magus will probably try to create those circumstances at least a couple of times. Then at 16th level we have Counterstrike. Whenever a target successfully casts defensively, the Magus gets an attack of opportunity after the spell is complete. So you can't stop the spell, you can't disrupt them from casting it, but you get to smack them and punish them for daring to do such a thing in front of you. So not bad to have. It's a shame that you can't disrupt the spell, but still, this is very, very punishing, especially when you consider how much damage you can really have explode out when you strike a target. And most mages are really, really going to hate that. Most casters in general. At 19th level, you are going to gain greater spell access, and this is a great ability. You gain 2 of each spell level up to 6th from the wizard spell list and add them to your own. So any wizard spell that is not already part of the Magus spell list, you get to add to your own. 2 of each level, all the way up to your maximum of 6 level spells. That's a huge boost and really does a lot to make your character even more flexible and diversifiable compared to another Magus. You are going to be fairly distinct when you make these selections, assuming that you're not picking, all of the tried and true usual suspects of things that any spellcaster would want. If you want to try to flavor things up a little bit, this is probably one of the classes where you could do that pretty comfortably and still come out ahead. But, that said, definitely take a look around to see what options are really good that you don't already have, and at least take a couple of those just to really boost yourself and round yourself out alongside the options that more fit the theme and character type that you're playing into. And then lastly, we come to the final tippy top, the capstone ability for the Magus. You become a true Magus at 20th level. When using spell combat, give a +2 bonus to either the save DC for your spells, which is nice, a +2 circumstance bonus to overcome spell resistance, or all attack rolls against the target this turn. In addition, you don't need to make a concentration check to cast defensively. Okay, that last one is nice, but it's kind of meaningless by this point because you should be just about succeeding on everything. This is it's nice, it's cool, but it's sort of an afterthought addition. The +2 bonus to save DCs for your spells is nice, and the bonus to overcome spell resistance is nice. Attack rolls, not bad. Like, everything helps. Everything certainly does help, but it's a good ability. It's just a little lackluster as far as level 20 abilities go. And there is an alternate capstone ability that is it's something to do with your sword and your arcane pool and the ability to boost how much it does. So it provides up to a +7 bonus total, if I remember right. So, and that seems interesting, but it doesn't have the flexibility of this either, and that's significant. I'd say maybe they're about on par. It's a +2 to hit and to damage, which is nice, but at this level, a +2 bonus, again, nice. Like, applying it to your save DC is probably what you're going to most frequently do. That or overcoming spell resistance. And the fact that you can do this while using spell combat, you just choose and decide to do it, and it passively applies to whatever you have chosen, fantastic to have. But, again, like, a +2 bonus, you could take it or leave it. Like, it's nice. It is a good ability, don't get me wrong. I could probably go back and forth on this quite a bit, but anyways, these are the class abilities. We'll be diving into what the different Magus Arcana are, and the ones that we really want to take a look at, how they work, and we'll give a breakdown on all of that for this coming Saturday's episode. But what do you think? Did you like today's video? Did you dislike it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit those like or dislike buttons, and remember, if you haven't done so already, go on down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamers Den. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.